So the first thing I want to talk about is support. Support comes from, it's the one quality in your voice that distinguishes a singer who doesn't have too much training with a singer who has training. An unsupported sound would be something like this. I'm moving my hands, this is actually my rib cage. I'm showing you when I take my breath, if I don't support that breath, and I let the rib cage fall, it pushes the air out too quickly because of the weight of the rib cage, and it gives a breathiness to the sound. It's very interconnected with phonation, which is the vibration of the vocal cords, because when too much air is passing over the vocal cords, you can't approximate them nicely and give a nice clean sound. A supported sound is when I take my breath, and it's a low breath you want in singing, so you get an expansion here in the lower rib cage. I take my breath and I keep it. I keep that expansion. Both sounds are used in singing. You're going to use a non-supported sound in jazz, in pop, in country, but you're going to use it specifically to produce a more intimate sound. Let me just give you a quick demonstration how I would use support, and I play with it in the popular mediums like jazz and pop. In a sentimental mood, I'm within a world so strange and sweet. The second thing I wanted to talk about was phonation, the vibration of the vocal cords. How you bring the chords together is very important. Of course, with the addition of support, you're going to be able to master the phonation better than without support. But there is also something we can do within phonation. There are muscles in the throat called the arytenoid muscles, and if you learn how to use them, you can even improve your phonation beyond just supporting the voice. So this is probably more in the classical style, but it's getting a very pure tone. It's the difference between which is supported, but it's not quite as focused as You hear a slenderness in the phonation, which keeps the voice very healthy. The next point I want to talk about is attack. There are three types of attack in singing. Again, this is a term which is widely misunderstood by people in the pop field because they don't dive into what these terms mean. Attack in singing is pure and simply how you begin your sound. So we've already heard the first one, which is aspirated attack. Aspirated means that you have a puff of air or there's air in the sound. It's a non-supported sound. So, ha, ha, ha. I'm going to use that if I have a word that starts with an H. Hotel, how are you? The next attack I want to talk about is a glottal attack. A glottal attack is what we use when we cough. This is very hard on the vocal cords because what you're doing is you're closing them, you're building up subglottal pressure, and then you're slapping them together. It's very hard on the voice. Singers learn to cough and clear their throat in a lighter way. A glottal attack is something we do use in language. It's used when we have a word that starts with a vowel, like I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. I'm is a glottal attack. It's an attack I need to use. I need to learn how to do it very lightly, and I need to learn not to use it when it's not needed because it's very tiring on the voice. The next attack I want to talk about is a coordinated attack. In traditional singing, we call it a light attack, which sounds a bit like an oxymoron. But in any case, a light attack can be mastered once you've got the support working for you. So you breathe in, you take your breath, and you keep your expansion for the beginning of the sound. Ah, ah, ah. There's no puff of air. There's no bumping of the chords. Ah, ah, ah. Some vocal pedagogues started to call this a coordinated attack, but the term is just too encumbersome. It never really caught on. This is what we call a light attack. So those are the 3 attacks in singing. We need to learn how to do all of them and all of them well, and not to overuse them. Of course, we can never overuse the coordinated attack or the light attack. That's the one we want to use to keep the voice in shape.